he was blocked from working there. And then he was blocked from going into radio and into TV. So, and this is an historical fact which Yip himself says, Broadway, the American theater in New York City, was the only place where an artist could stand up and say whatever he wanted, provided he got the money to put the show on. So for Finian's Rainbow, they had to have 25 auditions because they said it was a commie red thing. And finally they got the money up and they put the show up, but by that time Yip was blacklisted, and his next show was Jamaica with Lena Horne, which is an all-black cast. Oh, one other thing in terms of Yip's drive for racial, ethnic equality, and that is that Finian's Rainbow in 1947 was the first show on Broadway where the chorus line consisted of blacks and whites who danced with each other, and the chorus was an integrated affair.
What happened to him during the McCarthy era?
Well, he could not work on any major film that they wanted him to work on from the major studios in Hollywood. The setup was that Roy Brewer, who was the head of the IATSE union, I'm sorry to say that, was the one who...
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, this is a stagehands union. I'd like to say good things about unions, but they get bureaucratized and they go right-wing, you know. They get bad. This was a bad leader. And he terrorized all of the Jewish moguls who were being accused of communism by the House Un-American Activities Committee, and they yielded to whatever he said to them, out of fear that they would get branded as communists or that they boycott the film, all right? And so when, you know, they called Yip in to do Huckleberry Finn with Burt Lane, then Roy and the guys said, no, he's on our blacklist, okay? And you can't hire him. And then Yip went away, and they wanted him to work on Dr. Dolittle. No, you can't hire him. And the same thing for radio and TV. That was known as a, quote, blacklist, which wasn't, that was the first use of the term, because in small towns where you had corporations going, if you did something that the company didn't like, you were blacklisted from town. You couldn't get a job in town. But this was the first time, due to the technology, that a blacklist was national and accompanied by a loaded word, communist, that could get you fired any place. For Yip, it was horrible because his friends who were artists suddenly had no income. And there was suicides, there was divorces, there were people who left the country, there were people whose lives were just ruined. And so Yip supported some of them. Dalton Trumbull, who was one of the Hollywood 10 who were first picked out by the House Un-American Activities Committee to go to jail for a year citation. Are you now or have you ever been a member of the Communist Party? You know, Yip fronted him with money and so forth. It was a horrible time.
How long couldn't Yip work for?
For about from 1951 to 1962. He came back to Hollywood in 1962, and he and Harold Arlen did Gay Paris, which is with Judy Garland. She asked them to come back, and it's a cult animated cartoon now, which you can get in your video. And I remember him putting on a show at the Tabor Auditorium, Welcome Back, Yip, you know, and he, in 62.
But that means that The Wizard of Oz made it big during the time that he was blacklisted. That was, and when you consider the social commentary that it was making, that's pretty profound.
Yeah, but I don't think hardly anyone knows the political symbolism underneath The Wizard of Oz, because, again, it's a thing that happens in Finian's Rainbow, even though, as Peter Stone, noted playwright on Broadway, said it's the only socialist track ever on Broadway, all right? People don't hear the political message in it, okay? They are vastly entertained. And the same thing happens with The Wizard. You know, no one would even think of such a thing.
My song like when the idle poor become the idle rich, and brother, can you spare a dime, caused a great deal of furor during a period in Hollywood when a fellow by the name of Joe McCarthy was reigning supreme. And so they got something up for people to take care of us, like me, called the blacklist. And I landed on the enemy list. And in order to overcome the enemy list, what was the enemy list? Well, it said one that you were a red, another one that you were a blue nose, and the other one that you're on the blacklist. Finally, I thought the rainbow was a wonderful symbol of all these lists. In order to overcome the enemy list and this rainbow that they gave me the idea for, I wrote this little poem. Lives of great men all remind us greatness takes no easy way. All the heroes of tomorrow are the heretics of today. Socrates and Galileo, John Brown, Thoreau, Christ, and Debs heard the night cry, down with traitors, and the dawn shout, up the Rebs. Nothing ever seems to bust them. Gallows, crosses, prison bars. Though we try to readjust them, there they are among the stars. Lives of great men all remind us we can write our names on high, and departing, leave behind us thumbprints in the FBI.
And that was Yip Harburg himself, as we end our tribute to this blacklisted lyricist. We spent the hour with Yip's son, Ernie Harburg, who co-wrote the biography, Who Put the Rainbow in the Wizard of Oz? Yip Harburg, lyricist. Yip Harburg was born in 1896. He died in 1981 at the age of 85. The Yip Harburg Foundation has donated 50 documentaries to the New York Public Library, comprising the Yip Harburg Political Documentary Film Collection, and the U.S. Post Office is honoring Yip Harburg with a stamp. Today's program was actually produced for radio in 1996 with Errol Maitland and Dan Coughlin. Special thanks to Gary Helm, Brother Shine, and executive producer Julie Drizzen. For a copy of today's program, you can go to our website at democracynow.org. You can also call 1-800-881-2359. That's 1-800-881-2359. Our website is democracynow.org. Our email address, mail, M-A-I-L, at democracynow.org, where you can sign up for our daily digest, get the news headlines every day, as well as media alerts. Democracy Now! Is produced by Mike Burke, Sharif Abdel-Kaddous, John Hamilton, Anna Noguera, Elizabeth Press, and Jeremy Scahill. Special thanks for Elizabeth Press's TV rendition of this radio documentary. Also thanks to Uri Galed, Angela Alston, Orlando Richards, John Randolph, Chris Zucker, Karen Renucci, Dennis Moynihan, Isis Phillips, Jenny Filipazzo, and so many who make this program possible. I dedicate today's show to my late dad, George Goodman, the original Yippie. I'm Amy Goodman. Thanks for joining us.